Chapter 13 of Deliver Me from Ava by Paul Bailey. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Ben Tucker. Chapter 13. I saw Castleman standing alongside. The bland smile on his beefy, jowled face infuriated me, and I struggled to rise. I was helpless in the restraining straps. The effort left me giddy and breathless, and I slumped back to the table. The doctor's big hands kneaded and stroked. I frothed with the fury of a trapped beast. "You insufferable limb of perdition," I growled through my teeth at Craner. "I'll kill you for this." For answer, I felt the temporal plates of my skull bend inward under the titanic pressure of his hands. My ears crackled, my eyes watered, and blinding flashes of light crossed my vision. "Your sutures are opening beautifully," I heard the doctor purr. "Astonishing progress in 2 treatments. "Let me out of here!" I screeched, fighting again to rise. But I was as helpless as a sheep in a butcher's stock. Castleman's hands easily pressed me back to the table. "Leave me alone!" I howled in anguish. "In God's name, let me out of here! Please, let me out!" "Why, certainly, Mark. We're nearly done. Now, please relax." The doctor's bald head and smiling face bent to my vision. Assuredly, were it closer, I'd have torn at it with my teeth. "Don't tell me to relax," I moaned. "I'll kill you if I never do another thing." "That's shameful talk for a son-in-law," he said, pressing viciously at my throbbing head. "You seem ungrateful for the opportunity I'm giving you." "To be a corpse like Osmond, or an imbecile like Insa?" "Decidedly not, my boy. I'm giving you life and light, such as you've never known before." And Kramer said it almost tenderly. "You're a lying fiend and murderer!" I screamed, threshing madly at my straps. Unconcerned, the doctor kneaded away at my head. He leaned close again and quietly, confidentially whispered, "Mark?" "What?" I growled, staring wildly up at him. "Tonight a son was lost to me." He suddenly looked as solemn as a great owl. "A son to whom I had pledged my greatest hopes. A son—" "You killed him, you crazy dodo. You'll kill your daughter. You'll kill me. You'll kill everyone who submits to your brutal clutches." "Quiet, Mark." "Let me out of here." "Listen, Mark," he pleadingly whispered. "By his untimely release, Osmond leaves an earth life unfinished. And you, I have another son. I have chosen you, Mark, for a great destiny. You shall take up where my boy left off." "I'll take up the first thing I find and kill you with it," I howled. "You foul, unnatural monster, unloose me!" "I'm putting you back to sleep, Mark," the doctor confided. "Before I do, you must know my plans. Blinded by the rebellious attitude you've assumed, it is only natural that you may not recognize immediately the wisdom and blessings so inseparably a part of the things I shall tell you. But no matter, the objectionable parts will be reconciled to you before catalepsis, by suggestive implantations." "Let me out of here!" "First of all, I must explain that Osmond's most unique progress came about through years of painstaking labor. Over a like span of time, I doubtless could bring you to the same high plane as that of my own blood children. Unfortunately, and of necessity, the cycle must be shortened. I have chosen you, Mark, for an experiment." I sweltered like a wretch facing execution. I was numb with fear. "It's murder, you hell fiend! I'll not submit!" "The gap will be shortened. I shall bring you to the threshold of genius, by transferring to you Osmond's powers of psychic and physical apperception. By such wonders you shall in very deed become a blood son of mine." "A corpse, you mean?" I hopelessly groaned. "But I'm wise to your hypnotic palaver. I'll resist it. Never worry." "But this, my dear boy, is surgical." "Please, God, no," I pleaded. "Castleman has brought Osmond's head from the laboratory. Please relax while I explain my plan." "Surgical head?" I abjectly moaned. Just relax, my dear boy, just relax. In God's mercy, what are you planning to do? For answer, the doctor's hands soothingly caressed my forehead, moving in delicate and tingling strokes back toward the base of my skull. I lay there panting, wild with fright. "Observe, Mark," the doctor finally replied. "To the right. I'm unhooking the neck clamp." I raised my head, turned my eyes, and there was Castleman. In his hands was a deep white enameled surgical basin. In that basin, swathed with rubber hot water bottles, was the head of Osmond Craner. My heart stalled with fear. Sweat started in every pore. I felt the doctor's strong hands force me back to the neck clamp. I wanted to scream the horror that held me in its stifling grip. Instead, I croaked like a frog and whimpered like a baby. "It pains me to show you these things," the doctor was saying, "but like all of us, you must understand that the cadaver is not Osmond in any sense of the word. Osmond has been released from Earth plane. His body was only the physical housing he wore through this phase of progression, and discarded with his untimely release. But I had certain very definite and wonderful plans for my boy. Plans, fate willing, that you must accomplish in his stead. After I'm through with you tonight, I shall remove from Osmond's cadaver 3 important brain glands. They are supernally developed, and for the sake of the world, they must not be allowed to die. Tomorrow, Mark, they shall be given you. You are my son now, and a very fortunate man." "You're not cutting open my skull," I groaned from misery's abyss. "'Twill be a miracle of surgery, my boy. Now relax, relax. Your consciousness steadily grows dimmer." I felt the tender strokes of his hands. I fought the drowsiness that enveloped me like a silken cloud, and with the fervor of a man possessed, I prayed. "You shall awaken in the morning," came the doctor's vibrant monotone. "Awake in the morning, refreshed, reconciled. Awake, refreshed, reconciled." End of chapter 13.